Not ideal with the sun, but this is my self video for February. So I came away from our last visits and really had, in some ways, the world turned on its head for me when I saw that we were going to be going and visiting some places that created things, i.e. Gallagher and Stainless. I was at a loss to think how I was ever going to be able to relate that to the organisation I work for now, particularly because the arts sector does see itself as being slightly different perhaps to everyone else, and it's all about feelings and thoughts and emotions rather than widgets and things made out of metal. So I was really, really surprised and pleased to discover that, in fact, at both places, right through the day, I found things that I was able to take back and implement straight away at the office. And also it cemented some ideas of things that the way that I'd been working, that actually it didn't really matter what industry you're in, they were still usable. But the big thing for me was about the idea that this is led by management, and that if you can get the buy-in from the middle up and down and continue to drive it, then there's a real opportunity to make a difference using Kaizen or any other management method for that matter. So I did some practical things when I got back to the office. I already had, quite by coincidence, started colour coordinating the work for my staff, who all work various hours and have to share a space. But we went a step further than that, and I really thought about how that would work on a day-to-day basis. Went out and bought a whole lot of post-it notes and talked to the staff in our very first stand-up meeting the following Monday about starting to process map everything we do by talking about the value chain idea. And so you could argue that there's 3 value chains within my organisation. One, the end product is a concert. 2, the end product is a musician who is at a higher level than when they became before, so becoming perhaps a professional musician. And then thirdly, the other product at the other end is an audience member who wants to go out and essentially grow their interest in orchestral music. But if I think about the value chain of putting a concert on, which the other 2 of course relate to, what that really did is I started to think about all the processes that are coming over from our volunteers, really investigating each of those and looking where there's waste. And there's certainly already a lot of waste that I've discovered, mainly because the volunteers were spread out all around the Waikato and Bay Plenty, and pretty much, although they would describe themselves as working closely together, don't really. They tend to do their little part of the puzzle and not really have much crossover until it's required. But alongside that, there's this huge amount of discussion that goes on for any decision. So it might take 10 or 12 or 15 emails to make one tiny decision about a colour in a flyer or some words that go onto a brochure or something. So I think there's a real opportunity for us to really uncover that. There had been a few things that I had planned to leave alone. For example, there's 3 separate Facebook pages, there's 3 separate websites, there's 3 different processes for recruiting orchestra members. And just as a way of trying to retain the unique nature of those orchestras, my thought had been that we retained those. But actually, having gone through that whole couple of days listening to conversations about value chains, I've realised that actually we don't need to do that, because whether the concert is from orchestra A, B or C, the process is the same, and we can be so much more effective if we eliminate waste. So absolutely, that was a huge key for me. And the second thing coming out of what happened, what we heard on Saturday about the warehouse group, was listening to that real fundamental belief that people are good and they want to do the right thing and they want to be good employees. And I think I do believe that, and I think it's really important to keep that top of mind. It's very easy to complain about staff, whether they're paid staff, volunteers, a bit of both, and say that, you know, a lot of employers will say staff is their biggest problem. And it's interesting to me that the people that complain most about their staff are also the ones that have the high staff turnover. People that talk about how fantastic their team are, people stay. So that was 2 really big lessons for me. I'm looking forward to the end of CELF now. I found it pretty hard going with having to juggle the job, the new job, and the study and various other things going on in my life. But with every passing 2 days, I kind of dread 2 days out of life and then come away feeling enthusiastic about everything we've done. So a bit of a short one from me this month, just simply because that was my key learnings and things that I've been putting into practice every day.